Yeah. I think maybe when. Oh, yeah.
I guess Luis will
Yeah.
manage this.
Yes.
Hi everyone. So now we have 10 minutes for discussion and for Q&A, and I already see in the chat that we have quite some interesting questions. I will start with Ivica. So Philip, Ivica is basically congratulating about your talk, and he also shares the dilemma about um, how to teach like more complex ML practices when students actually don't have actually or only share a basic knowledge on ML.
Yes.
And
Oh, sorry. Continue.
go ahead, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say I saw the question and thank you. I also I agree and think it's very viable. I already answered it, but I'll answer it here as well. Basically, I think it's very much possible to do this because there are certain things in my experience that you can definitely abstract away for people. And if you have a course covering only how to, if you say that you have some kind of module which serves as an isolated endpoint for a specific model, then you can have a course perhaps just as an idea, but a course could be how to interact with APIs that specifically serves models and what kinds of risks are associated with interacting with specifically model APIs and what should you watch out for and what kind of formal requirements should be set on these on the interactions with these specific APIs in comparison to regular APIs. And I think that could either serve as a part of the course about APIs or as a sub part of that, or just as a small course, or in the integration of a larger course specifically around MLOps, I think. But essentially, yes, I don't think you need to interact with those kinds of APIs. You definitely don't need this kind of fundamental theory, which is the focus of academia today to a large extent when it comes to machine learning.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, and thanks, Philip. And I'll move on to a question that I personally had to Isaac. Isaac, you're saying that we need more skilled software engineers, right? And I would say that even if you have more software engineers that are that have the skill set required to enforce the best practices, you still have big teams with practitioners from different backgrounds. And how do you make sure that this will actually that you can actually enforce all the teammates to follow these best practices? And we have some questions in the chat. So, I mean, we have some answers for these in the chat, but I want to hear from your opinion as well.
So I already see some practitioners talking about building their own pipelines and study and adapt for your own problem or own company. So this is a work of study and make some tests. Test all the time and studying how your team answer for this simulation or for this way to build this. So in my opinion, they need to test. The test is the main thing to do in here. Put the concepts and see how the team respond for them.
Yeah, nice. So one thing that I found interesting was that, for instance, Bart van Oort was saying that one way to tackle this problem is actually having software engineers educating their teammates, which goes back to what Philip was saying about this gap on education of machine learning, that we need to focus on all these different topics. I will move on to a question that you have to Marco. So Lucy Allen, she's saying that research projects are exploratory in nature. How do you ensure that they have this flexibility while also have a balance with what you state is needed in terms of practical production quality, code pipelines, etc., in addition to papers, thesis?
Yes. So basically, the way we do that is to kind of allow like short periods. Like we use basically like the Git flow branching strategy to drive our projects, and then you have like feature branches which are pretty much private, where everybody can do what they want, and then when they feel ready for it, and it cannot be months later or so, but it's usually agreed to be on a shorter period, they have to check into the develop branch, so where the integration happens. And that's where we enforce all the pipelines, code quality, testing, and stuff like that. So we find the balance in this way, that we just have like short periods of creativity and then integration, short periods of creativity, integration. That's how we usually do it. And it's I have to admit that this way of seeing things kind of always receives some skepticism in the beginning. But then after a while, once you create this kind of culture in your division, in your project, then everybody kind of acknowledge that the minor overhead that you have in order to be able to produce something which is of good quality software-wise, it's compensated by the time you don't spend looking for bugs or stuff like that. At the end of the day, like a sentence I like to say is that, do we ever send out a paper without proofreading it? Well, the clear answer is no. Then why should we do it that we should that we code?
Interesting, yes. So do we have more questions? I see that Jan, she's saying that she agrees with part with regards to Isaac's question. We can't expect everyone to have software engineering skills, but the software engineers need to train the team and demonstrate the practices. So that means that software engineers have sufficient respect and leadership roles in the team. For the industry practitioners, do you observe equal status for the software engineers but versus machine learning experts? So does anyone want to comment on this?
In my research, I observed that sometimes software engineer skills is important to lead with this area, conducting and working together with machine learning experts, because they know a way to build this and put the product in production, for example, applying continuous integration and deployment too. Including this, but in the other ways, help to create some methodologies to like feedback loops. This is very important when we construct a machine learning product, and this way to the traditional software.
All right. Yes, thank you, Isaac. We also have a question from Greta Heck. This is not a question about the talks, but about the papers. So she's asking, where can we find actual position papers? And this is a question I don't know how to answer, but I hope that maybe some of the organizers may help us here. Anyway, we still have 1 minute for one last question or comment. And maybe one of you would like to say a few words before the end of this session. Just feel free. All right. I guess there are no further questions. Thank you everyone for joining this session. I think this was a really, really nice session. I really enjoyed all the talks. Thank you everyone. I guess I'll see you again tomorrow. And I hope you had a good time today at the workshop. See everyone soon. All right.
Okay.
Thank you very much. See you tomorrow.
Thank you, everyone.
See you tomorrow. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
the opportunity too.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you for the opportunity.